friendships were formed on the baseball field. One of his fondest memories is winning the AAA championship on the Diamondbacks with some of his current teammates. He would like to say thank you to his teammates for all the great memories. Lastly, Jonathan would like to thank Coach Dara and Coach Clem as well as all of his other coaches for helping him grow into the player and man he is today. Jonathan will be attending the Madden Business School at Lemoyne College to get a degree in leadership and management. Nolan Brand. Nolan Brand has played baseball as long as he can remember. It has been a big part of his childhood and has a lot to do with where he is today. First, he would like to thank his family for being there through this whole journey. From bringing him to the field to hit, driving him to tournaments, the early mornings, the long nights, and being at every game. He couldn't be here without them and can't thank them enough for their continued love and support. Next, he would like to thank Coach Dara, Coach Clem, and all the other coaches that have helped him along the years and all the hard work that they have put in to making him the player that he is today. Finally, he would like to thank his teammates and friends. All the memories that they have made over the years from Little League to now will stick with him forever, and he will forever be grateful for the opportunity to get to play alongside them. Next year, Nolan will be attending Syracuse University, where he is planning on studying finance.
Do you know what these colors are off the top of your head? Okay, good, because I haven't had them all season. What? I haven't known all season.
Samson Mishra. From the time Samson first picked up a bat and glove, baseball has been his greatest passion. First and foremost, Samson would like to thank his parents, Dan and Jeanette, for giving him the opportunities to succeed in the sport he loves. Their unconditional support throughout his baseball career is what got him to where he is now, and he is forever grateful for that. Samson would also like to thank his sister, Shayna. She has been his role model since day one, and her success on the field inspires him every day to become the best player he can possibly be. Samson would also like to thank Coach Dara and Coach Clem for believing in him and further educating him on the game of baseball. And last but certainly not least, Samson would like to thank all of his teammates. Many of the guys on this team have been playing with Samson since Little League. The bond he has formed with them over the years has become unbreakable, and he will cherish the memories they have given him forever. The lessons this team has taught Samson about teamwork and leadership will forever be with him as he continues his journey through life. Although Samson's JV baseball career is coming to a close, the memories and friendships he has formed will last a lifetime. David Stewart. David started playing baseball at a young age and has played ever since. He would first like to thank his mom, Maria, for always coming to his games and being there to support him. He would also like to thank his grandparents for all the support they have for him throughout his time playing. Next, he would like to thank his sisters, Mia and Macy, for playing catch or throwing him ground balls in the backyard and always going to his games whenever they can. Then he'd like to thank his teammates for all the memories that they gave him that will last forever. Last but not least, he'd like to thank Coach Clem and Coach Dara for always trying to make me a better player. Next year, David will be going to trade school to become an electrician. Corey Kretsch. Baseball has always been a part of Corey's life since he was little, from going to games and playing and even umpiring. First, he would like to thank his parents, Michael and Michelle, for always being his #1 supporters through it all, going to all his games and bringing him to all his tournaments. Next, thank you goes out to his brother Casey for always bringing him to the field to help him get better. He would like to thank his grandparents for always making the long trips to come see him play. Back in Little League, Corey remembers winning the District 8 championship. This was his favorite baseball memory, and it was made with many of the guys on this team who he would also like to thank for always being there to support and pick him up. They have made so many memories and have become closer and closer each year they play together. And last but not least, he would like to thank Coach Dara and Coach Clem for always giving him confidence and always trying to make him better on and off the field. Next year, Corey will be taking a gap year to work. Matthew Alexander. Matthew would like to thank his mother Maria, father Tim, and sister Serena for always being on his side and teaching him how to be a better person on and off the field. The opportunities they have provided him have been endless, from playing at some of the best baseball parks in the country to just being able to go out to the field every day and play his best. And he can always count on someone in his family ripping on him for going 2 for 3 and giving away an at-bat.
Gap here.
As for Coach Dara and Coach Clem, he thanks them for their continued support and never going easy on him since day one, as he wouldn't be the same player as he is today without it. As for teammates, he thanks his brothers, past and present, for giving him some of the best high school memories, especially playing in the sectional championship with a couple thousand people watching. Matthew will continue his baseball career playing Division I baseball at Bucknell University while majoring in mechanical engineering. Coach Klepper and Coach Dara would like to thank these seniors and their families for their dedication to the Jamesville-DeWitt baseball program. Congratulations to all seniors for all their accomplishments on and off the field. All heart! Together can't lose.
We're doing pitch count too, right?
We don't have to.
You don't have to, no?
No, if you want to, you can go ahead.
But we're keeping track of like, when they're done, we're gonna.
Yeah, we've got their lines.
If I have time, I'll do pitch count. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have that information.
Yeah, feels like it's coming in. Like it's got that feeling in the air.
I agree.
We should pull up that temp from the terrace.
Are they using it, or is it just sitting
I don't
there?
know. I can't see.
I mean, the radar said it's not supposed to until 9.
Yeah, senior night's done to throw us off the air. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jamesville-DeWitt Central High School here in DeWitt, New York. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken here on senior night as Syracuse City comes in to take on the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams, our final home game of the season. It's gone by way too quick, hasn't it, Tyler?
It's gone by very quick, and all of a sudden we're at the end of the season, 2 games left for this Red Rams team, and they need to win both to get into that sectional tournament. So stakes are high. It's not just senior night, it's a game that needs to be won.
And we'll see if they have that chance in just a moment as Syracuse City is all set to get started. Leading off for Syracuse City is Pedro Marte, the right fielder, and on the mound for the Red Rams is David Stewart. Stewart with a 3.65 ERA this season, a 170 whip. First pitch, a swinging strike, and we are underway here at the JD Diamond. Thank you so very much for joining us here live exclusively on JD TV. Because, you know, people have really been competing in order to have the chance to cover these games.
And that's a good start to the day. Quick 2 strikes for David Stewart. Hopefully he'll get one more here, and that would really help him build momentum with a 3-strike strikeout to start the game.
The Red Rams are 4-10 on this season. Syracuse City 5-8. But the interesting thing is these teams are actually much more evenly matched than you might think, and in some ways, at least statistically, the Red Rams are better. Stewart with the third pitch. Weakly hit by Marte on the ground. Throws over to first, and King gets the out.
Got to give a lot of credit to Corey Crutch for that nice stretch at first base. Took a nice little bounce there, and he kept his composure and rounded that ball up.
One away now for the Red Rams in the top of the first here. Bringing up Eli Livingston. Livingston up the middle. Fielded cleanly by Alexander across the diamond. Gets the second out. Alexander has been a defensive rock all season long.
Honestly, on both sides of the field, I believe he has the highest hitting percentage on the team. He's a magnet out there at shortstop, rounding up every fly ball, ground ball, line drive, anything that goes out into that left side of the field, he's going to track it down.
If you had to appoint a team MVP with 2 games left in the season, it would undoubtedly be Alexander, as Stewart's first pitch to Aiden Murphy is in the dirt for ball 1. And even there in a leadership capacity as Alexander quickly goes out to talk to Stewart.
Provides a lot for this team, and I'm sure the Bucknell team is going to be very happy to have him next year.
Alexander going to play Division I baseball. Another ball. Stewart was really hitting the zone at the beginning, and after 2 batters now, he's struggling to find it. If you have any comments on today's game, don't forget we have a comment section. We have it up right here, and we're looking at what you're saying, so feel free to let us know what you think, and if we like what you say, might even read it out on the air, as Murphy quickly has a 3-0 count. Finally finds the strike zone. Stewart has thrown 12 1/3 innings pitched, at least before this game. 11 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 10 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Add another hit to that total, courtesy of Aiden Murphy.
Did a good job seeing that ball. It looked like it came off the very inside of his bat, but a full swing and easy stand-up single.
So a textbook hit for Murphy will bring up Noah Kisselstein. The runner on first and 2 out. First pitch in there for a strike. Now here's something interesting about Syracuse City. They have around about 79 hits on the season. I believe that's number 80, courtesy of Murphy. But they only have 7 extra base hits.
I mean, there's a lot of managers and coaches who want that, though. They want the singles. They want occasionally a double. They want walks. They just want their team to play smart, small baseball. And it seems as though that might be what their coach wants from them.
So Syracuse City actually does have a higher batting average than the Red Rams do as a team, 245 compared to the Red Rams 206, but their slugging percentage is 20 points lower. SC's slugging percentage 277 for the Red Rams 297. Three, 1, 2 outs, runner on first. Here it comes. Finds the outside corner. This at-bat continues. Runner goes, ball 4. Stewart walks his first batter of the day, and now there's 2 on with 2 out.
And this is one of those situations where the Red Rams need to be careful, because we saw just on Tuesday how quickly 1 or 2 bad at-bats for a pitcher can turn into a completely bad inning.
Yes, we did, as Joe Alacqua takes the first pitch he sees. It falls on the short porch. Misplayed by Santos. 1 run scores. Thrown out at third. Gets him. That run should still count, I believe.
And that run will count 1-0 at the end of the top of the first.
Indeed it does. That is the end of the top of the first. Syracuse City puts 1 on the board, courtesy of Joe Alacqua. Give him the RBI. And we'll be back with the bottom to see if the Red Rams will respond right after this.
You can call that a single or a double.
Wouldn't it be a fielder's choice?
So not even a hit?
I don't think that's a hit.
I mean, they wouldn't have thrown him out at first.
Yeah, but
I call it a single, then a fielder's choice to get to second, right?
Well, you can't have a fielder's choice and a hit.
I mean, I'd call it a hit then, because they wouldn't have thrown him out at first regardless. And they didn't even throw it anywhere.
I'm asking, Coach.
We could call it an error. Okay.
Hey, Coach.
16 pitches, 1 out.
My gut says single.
It's only fielder's choice if he wouldn't have gotten on for any other reason.
He said it's a single and fielder's choice.
That's what the coach said?
Clem just said that. Depends. If he wants to ask, he can ask.
Single?
Single with a fielder's choice. You were right.
I didn't realize you could have both.
Neither did I. Apparently you can. Okay, so let's adjust that info bar then. That's 2 hits. Syracuse City.
Can I move this here? Is that close enough for you to still see everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually,
Yeah, that works too. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the JD Diamond. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken holding down the call here as the Red Rams take on Syracuse City in the final home game of the season. And Matt Alexander looking to start things off as Syracuse City has put Hunter Kearney on the mound. Had a little bit of confusion during the half inning, trying to figure out how you rule that last at bat. Foul ball sent well out of play by Alexander. Turns out it is a single with a fielder's choice. 2/3 of us here running the broadcast did not know that you could have both at the same time. Apparently you can. Popped up. This is in play, and there's room. Coming over is the shortstop, Livingston, who makes a catch.
And yeah, as the person who's played and has known the least amount about baseball, I'm surprised I was the one that correctly guessed the call there. But baseball's such a complicated sport, you could study it for decades and still be learning new things every day.
Well, that's kind of what's fun about the sport, if you ask me.
Exactly. I wholeheartedly agree.
And now here's Matt Sweeney, who's batting .275 this season. Had a big double last game. Takes the first ball outside. Red Rams bench as lively as ever. There was an audible grunt from Kearney as he threw that last pitch.
Almost sounds like a tennis player when he pitches. Got a little bit of a, exactly, an audible grunt, just like you said.
But you have to wonder if that means there could be an issue of arm vitality, for lack of a better word.
Maybe it might just be an expression of the physical, kind of the physical exertion of pitching. It's one of the most difficult things to do in all of sports.
Well, there's a 3-0 count for Sweeney, who considers bunting, but he takes his base instead. And now batting in the 3-hole is Carter King, the most dangerous batter for the Red Rams. 4 home runs on the season with an asterisk. Sweeney back in time. King batting .280. Out of his 14 hits, 9 of them were for extra bases. Sends one foul. And of course, we were talking just a moment ago about how one bad inning can send everything haywire. Last game against Central Square, the Red Rams took it to the 9th inning, 2 innings deep into extra innings. Another one fouled off by King. And despite being tied for 3-3 for most of that time, Justin Ellithorpe, the pitcher, who was nearly flawless for over 6 innings, as Sweeney literally crawls back. He slid a little too short, had to almost doggy paddle his way back to the base.
For sure.
Ellithorpe, unfortunately, I don't want to say imploded in that 9th inning, but started slipping. As Sweeney does go, ball outside, Sweeney will snag a bag.
I'd say maybe the right term is ran out of steam. He was pitching so well for so long, just didn't have anything left in the tank.
Ellithorpe more than doubled his season total in innings just last game. Went 6 1/3. He had only thrown 5 1/3 previously. Another ball makes it to a 2-2 count. Kearney looks at the runner, and Sweeney will advance to third.
Sweeney doing a good job of playing some heads-up base running, making sure he's not wasting any time, and it's not even relatively close for either of his steals because he's running before the ball even hits the ground.
And now King works from an 0-2 count to a 3-2 count. Pokes it out to second base, throws over to first. King is out but gets the RBI. We are all tied up at 1 as Matt Sweeney scores. Now it's Jake Ogata, who was the starting pitcher in the last game, batting cleanup. Fouls it off. So you weren't here last game, Tyler, but I was very concerned because I got here late, and I had parked my car right up against the side of this parking lot here to the left of the diamond. Well, I'll get to that in a moment as Ogata tears one into center field over the head of Halakwa. Ogata heading to second. Stand-up double for Jake Ogata.
He launched that ball, and when it came off the bat, it was hard to tell exactly how far it went. And I think Alankwa would agree with you. He stood there for a minute, shocked, and then it went over his head. He didn't even realize how deep the ball went.
There's 2 outs now for Dante Santos, who takes a first strike high and outside. So I had parked my car about as close as possible to the field. In the middle of the second inning, sprinted out, moved it further down the parking lot, as Santos takes one for a ride deep left center field, up against the wall. Ogata scores. Santos with a stand-up double.
Almost identical hits back to back.
It is now 2-1. Ogata and Santos with back-to-back doubles, bringing up Corey Kretsch. I should just keep extending this story, I guess, as Kretsch hits one right back to the third baseman. Atkinson throws across the diamond and gets out number 3, but not before the Red Rams put 2 more runs up on the board. We'll be right back after this. The Red Rams have tied it up and then some, taken the lead after just 1. It's an action-packed game. You're not going to want to miss the rest of this. So, 2 quick notes. First of all, you don't have to focus on the scoreboard ever because we've got it all right here.
All right. Yeah, I don't know why.
Don't worry, a lot of people forget. And the second thing, no, we want both.
Right, when that one's up.
So I can tell who's fielding. And the other thing is, if you lose track of the ball, you're not sure where it is, when in doubt, zoom out.
Okay.
So if you can't find anything or if things are getting lost in the shuffle, just pull back,
Okay.
and we'll get a better general view of what's happening.
Sounds good.
You're doing a better job than I did my first time filming baseball.
Yeah, you're not doing a bad job. Actually, I'm enjoying the zooms. You're getting good details. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the top of the second here at the JD Diamond, as Hunter Kearney, the pitcher, will take his first hacks. David Stewart's still on the mound. I guess I'll try to finish that story now. I parked about as close as I possibly could to the ballpark last game. In the middle of the second inning, sprinted out and moved my car to the further part of the parking lot, of course getting yelled at by people who work here, saying, hey, you can't park here, not realizing that I do work here. As Kearney takes one left side, tracking it, Santos makes the catch. Santos has made a series of incredible catches last game and continues to do so here. But later that very inning, bottom of the second, guess what? A foul ball lands exactly where my car was parked.
And sometimes people just have a feeling. There's a certain level of intuition, but that's impressive, and I respect the kind of, I don't know, ingenuity it took to realize it the half inning before it happened. That's insanely lucky.
Yeah, you're telling me, especially since I'm driving a rental right now. Can't imagine having to fill out a second insurance claim.
Don't want to have 2 cars in the shop at once.
Yeah, that would be bad, wouldn't it? Here's a pitch from Stewart. Big swing and a miss from Calvin Atkinson, the third baseman.
And at the baseball fields, at the softball fields, anywhere at JD, it's a very big risk to park anywhere near the baseball fields because those balls will go up, they'll go all around, and they will hit any car in their way.
2-2 count now. Stewart settles, big kick, delivers. Just a little too inside for the umpire's liking. Full count. Atkinson gets a piece of his own cleat. Grimacing a little bit, but seems to be okay. The weather is foreboding at best right now.
The rain was supposed to start at 1. It is now approaching 6 o'clock, and we've held off the rain for now.
The forecast now says there will be a drizzle starting in 23 minutes. 90% chance of rain by 6 p.m., possible thunderstorms, and we don't have a covering or even an umbrella.
It'll be a developing story seeing how we react to the rain if it comes.
And what a snag by Alexander! We were just talking about his defensive capabilities, and he shows them off here. Lightning quick reaction time for out number 2. Reagan Riffenberg up to bat now, the lefty. Mighty hack and nothing to show for it. 0-2 now, 2 outs. It's just a little low.
I know Stewart walked a batter in the first inning, but I feel like his control today has been some of the best control we've seen all season from any Red Rams pitcher.
It has been something that the Red Rams have been struggling with. You say, as he puts a curveball too far out. The Red Rams have been struggling with that all season. It's been kind of their Achilles heel. There's another ball. It's 3-2 now.
I might have the JD fans coming after me. I might have just jinxed Stewart.
And Riffenberg riffs it into left for the third hit of the day for Syracuse City.
Riffenberg did a good job extending that count, and he made the most of it. Just a solid hit on the left side. Nothing really fancy to it. Wasn't swinging for the fences, just made contact.
So now it's the number 9 batter, Kevin Schmidt. Stewart has been pitching to contact today, which is not a bad strategy considering the Red Rams defense that's been able to back him up. You don't always have to go for strikeouts. And Schmidt hits it to Sweeney. Can of corn falls off the shelf, and that is the end of the top of the second. We head to the bottom of the second right after this. Don't go anywhere. I put, F7 fly L for line, just so I know what happened.
I knew for F. I wasn't sure what to put for L, so I just put 6 until you added something.
Yeah, that's fine. Just L for line out.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to figure out something for the rain.
I have a feeling it's going to hold off, but I mean, like, there's no clouds directly above us.
Yes, there are.
No, those aren't rain clouds.
They're coming in from here. I mean, it's got that dew in the air, the humidity.
Josh, where do you park?
By the tennis courts?
Okay. Do you have an umbrella in your car?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't have an umbrella in mine.
I have the little pink one in mine, but that's not going to protect enough to actually do it.
And it's far.
Yeah.
This could be bad.
I think it's something we're going to have to figure out in the moment if something happens. I feel like we're doing okay right now.
I have a hoodie. That's all I have.
I could take this off and cover something.
So I'll cover the computer and sacrifice my own body, I guess? I don't know.
Run it over to there.
Well, just because it starts raining doesn't mean the game's going to be immediately canceled.
I mean, if you miss half an inning, I don't think anybody would.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now in the bottom of the second here on JDTV. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken as David Stewart swings and misses at the first pitch.
The Red Rams making a lot of contact in that first inning, hoping to keep that trend up in the second. Just put a bat on a ball, and in the first inning it worked.
Stewart 1 for 10 this season. Has not had too many opportunities at bat. One and two is the count. Fouls it off, close to a passing car, though into that backyard. We still don't know whose it is. Stewart crowding the plate, very close to the edge of the batter's box. But he puts one into play, center field, though caught by Alakwa.
Third time's the charm for Alakwa. He had two go over his head in the first inning. Very happy to finally get an out back there.
Stewart a little less happy. And now it's Nolan Brand who will step up to bat. They are hitting the dugout fence with a baseball bat. It's innovative.
It's been nice to watch the dugout progress throughout the season. They've gone from yelling to banging on the fence. Now they're using bats. It's innovation.
Very musical as Brand puts one in the air right field. Marte calling for it and brings it down. Not quite of exciting of a first inning for the Red Rams or not quite as exciting of an inning as the first one was for the Red Rams as Aaron Coe will step up to bat.
Are you noticing anything about Kearney's pitching that's allowing for so many fly balls to the outfield? Because there have been like 4 or 5 in the first 2 innings. I feel like it's been much more than average.
Well, from the looks of it to me, it doesn't look like he's going to his breaking balls very much. He's mostly relying on straight fastballs, and at a level like this, well, breaking balls can be a risky proposition at times, especially when pitchers are still developing their arms and developing their control. Even more importantly, kids are used to hitting fastballs, and when there's no break on the pitches, they have a better chance of tracking it down. Coe thinking of bunting. That goes to the backstop. So when you're throwing nothing but fastballs, it pretty much means you are a wave to the camera from Matt Alexander, by the way. When you're throwing nothing but fastballs, it pretty much means you are pitching to contact.
Which has been a strategy seemingly employed by both teams today.
And there is that breaking ball, and that could explain why he's been hesitant to go for it. Syracuse City with a team ERA of 6.64 this season. Strike 3 catches the bottom of the zone. And Coe goes down looking. That'll end the second inning.
Unfortunate there for Coe, seemingly in his eyes out of his range, but props to Kearney, who that was his first strikeout all game. He'd been pitching to contact, but at the end of the inning, he was actually able to, put some spin on it and get that strikeout.
Maybe that could inspire a change in confidence. Only one way to find out as we head to the third. We'll be right back.
Feeling all right. A little bit, I feel like less smooth than last time, just making sure I'm staying on top of this, but feeling all right.
Maybe don't worry about keeping pitch count for balls and strikes, because,
We don't really need it.
yeah. It'll free you up a little bit to worry about everything else. Okay, don't put the microphone on here. It's picking up the clicking of the hard drive. Okay. It's causing a little... Yeah. It's like, what was that noise? You know, I've been doing this for like half a year and it still feels weird authoritatively being like, try this, it'll help you. Am I not still trying to figure this stuff out myself? Top of the lineup for Syracuse City as we start off the third inning here. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken for JDTV. It is back to Pedro Marte, who grounded out to third in his first at-bat. Stewart with the highest leg kick I've seen this side of Orlando Hernandez.
It's not something you see, especially with high school pitchers. He definitely has a certain flair to him.
Marte, weak dribbler on the ground, back to King. That's 2 5-3s in a row as Kretsch will bring it down.
And it's odd because David Stewart isn't a slow pitcher, but he's been pulling both of those pitches by quite a bit, just pulling them all the way on that third baseline.
Like we said, he's been pitching to contact, and clearly it's been working. As Eli Livingston grounded out to short in his first at-bat. Holds off on the first pitch, though.
That was definitely a breaking ball. You were saying a lot of fastballs today, but that one just had a lot of movement on it.
Now, Stewart's been more okay with mixing up his pitch selection than Kearney has so far. Syracuse City averages 6 hits per game. The Red Rams average 5.6. So roundabouts the same on offense. Though Stewart now behind 3-0. Syracuse City also averages more strikeouts than the Red Rams do in terms of pitching rather than at the bat. 6.3 for Syracuse City, 5.7 for the Red Rams.
So yeah, both in that same general vicinity as well.
No, these two teams are extremely close. They give up almost the same number of runs per game. 7.2 for Syracuse City, 7.4 for the Red Rams. Almost the same number of walks. But there's a hit batsman.
Gotta love the chirping from that Syracuse City bench. Gotta wear it like a sweater, little comments like that. That's what make the game of baseball so great.
You know, here's something that we could settle using our comment section here, because this is something I have wondered for years. There is a dichotomy when it comes to getting hit by a pitch, as, by the way, Aiden Murphy steps up to bat. Do you rub some dirt on it, or do you not rub it? Because you're told to do both, but they're mutually exclusive. Runner goes as it gets away from Coe. Thinks about going to third, but will not.
I mean, I'm of the mindset that you don't rub some dirt on it. You just leave it be the tough guy. I don't think it's going to help anything. Might as well kind of project that strength to the other team.
So you are team do not rub it.
I'm team do not rub it.
So I guess you can't really rectify it. It's just got to be one or the other.
What's your take?
I'm of the don't rub it as well, but really, I mean, if you got to rub it, you got to rub it. You know, we're all human beings out here. It's going to hurt, so if you have to do it, might as well pick up some dirt. As Murphy picks it up to center field, Sweeney judging it, brings it down. That's out number 2. Mo Hajari in the comments is team rubbing dirt on it. If you'd like to chime in on this, please let us know. Hefty lead taken on second.
Livingston is unafraid on the base path. He'll take some risks, move up to almost, it seems as though halfway between the two bases before he trots along back to second base.
Well, there's no one looking there for the pickoff, so he might as well, as there was an attempt to call time there by Kisselstein, though he did not get it. But that's what you want your number 2 batter to do. You want someone who's able to take risks and snag some bags.
Anything to get in the pitcher's head, you got to do it. Good stop by Coe there, preventing Livingston from making his way over to third.
Joe in the comments says, no, it is the no rub for sure. That's when you say Joe who, because it literally says Joe Mama. Four-pitch walk for Kisselstein. Now there's runners on first and second for Stewart.
And I believe, in my opinion, my very uneducated baseball opinion, this is a situation where, you don't mind pitching for contact because any baseman can just step right on their base and get that last out of the inning. So,
well, that's what they say is the good thing about when there's the bases loaded. Runners on first and second, a little less so. You still want to play it cautious because a deep hit could bring home a runner on a sacrifice.
And that's
why. By the way, stolen base for Livingston as he swipes third. That's what he was looking to do that entire last at bat.
Finally got it. Third or fourth time's the charm at least. But that's what's good about there being 2 outs and runners on first and second. Don't have to worry about that sacrifice.
Oh, Mo Hajari says, who's Joe? Well, now you know. Could be Joe Alacqua, who's up to bat. Sweeney. Falls! The run will count as Sweeney and Gunn tripped over each other in center field. Looks like they're both okay. But we're tied up now. The error forced as Sweeney runs over Jonathan Gunn. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
It was a truly bizarre at-bat, but Syracuse City will take it as it will equalize this game at 2 runs apiece going into the bottom of the third inning.
A quick ground out for Hunter Kearney, the pitcher, but we're going to take a look at that replay one more time as we head to the bottom of the third. Sweeney and Gunn colliding. Too much traffic in center field forces an error and allows a run to score. We are all tied up at 2 apiece now as we head to the bottom of the third. Thank you so very much for joining us here on JDTV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the bottom of the third here, as Matt Alexander will start off the top of the order. Alexander is easily the man with the best eye on the Red Rams. Kearney fires it low. Alexander this season has 14 hits, 18 walks.
And there have been a few games where those weren't walks on accident. Those were intentional walks. It draws such fear out of the opposing pitcher's eyes that they don't want to worry about an extra base hit or an RBI. They just want him on first with no other issues.
Well, you can't blame them since he's hitting .607 in his on-base percentage. And he demonstrates his power, crushing it to right field. Saw an opportunity and he took it, and once he gets on first base, by the way, talking about those intentional walks, 9 stolen bases, second most on the team. Holds off and takes a strike at the hands, though. 2-2 is your count. Carter King may be the only player on the Red Rams who's hit a home run this season, but Alexander, if he can redirect that power into fair territory, could be number 2.
That was a smart hold. He almost swung at that high cheese, which is what I believe the players would call it.
You
Full
are
count.
correct. Full count pitch fouled off, and the at-bat continues.
And after a mistake like that to end the top of the third, an error causing a run, this is really an opportunity for the Red Rams to immediately move past that and not have that error lurking over their heads for the next few innings.
Certainly one of the most bizarre errors we've seen all season. And hey, 4 balls taken by Matt Alexander, putting him on first. Let's actually show that error one more time just because of how unbelievable it was.
And it's unfortunate because it seems as though both players were trying to do the right thing. The center fielder, Sweeney, going over to get that ball, and Jonathan Gunn seemingly coming over to back up the play. It's just an unfortunate vision error. Collided and a run scores.
Sweeney walked in his first at-bat, though he fouls that one off into that backyard. Maybe it's Art Modell who lives there, since we were talking about they could put together an entire sporting goods store with the number of balls that get hit in their backyard. Alexander looking for his 10th stolen base of the year, and he's safe. Matt Alexander swipes yet another bag. Just easy for him.
And it's so important to get that first runner in scoring position at the start of an inning, no outs, really putting the Red Rams in a great position with the top of their lineup, the meat of their lineup coming right up.
So a runner in scoring position, pitch very high. It has still been almost nothing but fastballs from Kearney, the pitcher. Sweeney actually had such a productive game last game as Alexander takes off for third. No throw from the catcher. Such a productive game last game for Sweeney that he actually boosted his batting average from 250 to 275.
That's very impressive. It's a game few Red Rams of this season have had. We saw Samson Mishral with a game like that earlier in the season. I think he was 3 for 3.
And Sweeney takes one where they ain't. 1 run will score as the ball goes off the glove of the left fielder, Sanjuro. RBI single for Matt Sweeney, and the Red Rams retake the lead. It's 3-2.
And Sweeney keeps that hitting streak alive, putting a score on the scoreboard in the process.
Now Carter King up to bat. And King drills it left field. Heading back towards the wall. Touch 'em all! Carter King with a 2-run blast to left field. Makes it 5-2.
And he absolutely demolished that ball way over the home run fence into the woods.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Carter King, the Red Rams resident aircraft carrier, anything that comes across deck is cleared for takeoff. That got off the bat in a hurry.
And earlier in this season, we saw a home run taken off the board by the umpires for Carter King, but he left no doubt with that one as it soared over that tall fence in left field, the Red Rams green monster, if you will.
The Great Wall of DeWitt. Popped up this time by Ogata. First baseman calls for it. And indeed, it is Kisselstein who brings it down. There is a talking to from the umpire to the Red Rams bench currently. Just said to them, no talking like that while the ball is up in the air.
It's always great to have a talkative bench, but you never want it to cross that line and start interfering with the other team too much.
You want to be encouraging but not unsportsmanlike. As Dante Santos will peruse to the platter, here's the pitch from Kearney. And Santos trying to replicate King's success, but much closer to the diamond. Brought down for out number 2 by the shortstop Livingston. Corey Kretsch now will come up for his second at-bat. He grounded out to short in his first. Ball at the hands. And it's 2-0 now.
A lot of pitches high coming from Kearney, which, I don't know, it just seems that he's been very consistent in missing high.
Foul tip grabbed for strike number 1. That's just a release point issue there, which at least means he is consistent, but it can be a really tough thing to dial in your release point as a pitcher. Kretsch hit well center field. Underneath it is Alakwa for out number 3.
3 straight hits and then 3 straight flyouts to the Red Rams, but at the end of the day, they'll get 3 more runs on the board going into the top of the 4th.
And that's what truly matters at the end of it. Red Rams up 5-2 heading into the 4th inning. On senior night, Carter King hits a monstrous shot over the Great Wall of DeWitt, and we'll be back with the 4th right after this.
Well, honestly, but he's hit it all across, so it's not really like...
Yeah, that's not his favorite spot. Actually, he's been less of a pull hitter, if anything.
It's been right center for the most part, I feel like.
Yeah, he prefers to take it off of.
Throw it deep. Don't aim it.
That monstrous out there, so it's small, but it's
Twice the size of the other areas.
I love the little Fenway-esque sign out there. Yeah. And the JD and the hitter's on. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the top of the 4th here. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken for JD TV, as well as your brother on camera.
Yeah, shout out to Joshua Aitken. Josh Aitken filming for us today. We saw Sam Aitken a few weeks ago. Now we got Josh. Only need Amanda to round out the Aitken clan.
So since we're keeping it all in the family, I guess I'm coming over for Christmas.
If you're still up north in the snow during Christmas time, we'll see.
I likely will be.
It's impressive how the Florida boy Sam Gelfand has been able to handle the upstate New York weather.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that I was born in New York City, and I did live there for the first 4 years of my life. It's funny, I identify as a New Yorker in Florida, and when I'm up in Syracuse, I identify as a Floridian.
But you've still got those New York genes and flowing through your veins, which is what matters.
Yeah, so a little bit of ice in the veins as there's a foul ball into the backyard by Kelvin Atkinson. So I have some sort of ability to withstand the cold. It's more something you have to get used to, though. Doesn't matter where you're from. If you spend enough time in a cold or warm environment, you figure it out.
Certainly an adaptable, I don't know if I'd call it skill, but maybe trait or characteristic
I would
that
say
you
trait.
can have.
That's a good word for it. If you have a better word, let us know in the comment section. As Atkinson rips it to Sweeney, who tracks it down. Atkinson, with any other center fielder, likely would have had a hit. That'll bring up Reagan Riffenberg. And that actually gave you a pretty good look at that JD mode into the center field hill, which unlike Houston's Park is not in play, and neither is that foul ball.
And I'm just really glad that Sweeney was able to make such an impressive catch there. Definitely a morale boost after the unfortunate event in right center that took place just a few innings ago.
Well, Sweeney's had his work cut out for him so far. And he's been productive at bat as well. That RBI single.
Throw it.
3-1 is the count now to Riffenberg. On the ground, Brand scoops it up. That's about as textbook as it comes.
And Brand has been all over the field this season. I believe we've seen him at third base. We've seen him at first base. We've seen him pitching. Now he's over at second, really making his rounds around that infield.
He's settled in fairly comfortably at second base, but he is certainly a utility player as Kevin Schmidt will step up. And Schmidt takes the first pitch he sees into the outfield. Santos calls for it, brings it down with one hand. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Stewart. We head to the bottom of the fourth here on JDTV. The Red Rams hoping to extend their 3-run lead as far as they can take it. We'll be right back.
Instead of writing RBI? Correct.
So one dot for, actually I think there's an example here.
Yeah, I'll just fix this one.
Here it is. So if you were keeping track of balls and strikes, there's a line under there.
Gotcha.
You put the line here to say, hey, they made it to first.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's an RBI like this, 2-run home run is 2 dots.
It'd be nice if this was bigger.
It's designed for legal size paper, but I don't have a printer that's capable of printing legal size paper.
Yeah, all good.
So it's the only way to fit all this all this info on one page.
Yeah.
Unless I want to like,
Not Kearney. Yeah, Kearney.
unless I want to like, head to Kinko's before each game.
What's Pinko's?
It's like office packs or whatever.
Oh, is it a starting thing?
I know it's just one of those stores. Just a print shop.
No, it's just like do they even have those?
All right, G. Trying it.
FedEx stores now also Kinko's or something like that.
Step out here, buddy.
We return to the bottom of the fourth here on JDTV. David Stewart Looks at the first pitch go by for a strike. Stewart flew out to center field in his first at-bat and has been holding it down on the mound.
And Kearney here probably always wants an out, but probably a little bit more here. Never want to let that opposing pitcher get a hit on you and get in your head even more. The battle between the pitchers.
Certainly something that's even more important at the high school level when most pitchers are also playing in the field and have decent bat skills as well. They don't have the chance to specialize like they do in the major leagues. Stewart pops it foul. There is room, but no one gets to it in time. You may hear the horn of the junior varsity girls lacrosse game going on across from the JD Diamond. There is a girls lacrosse game going on after this, but unfortunately, because we have to be here for this, we can't do that as well.
There's only one Sam Gelfand. You can't have him in two places at once.
Be convenient, though. Stewart fouls it off into the backyard. It'd be interesting if you could divide yourself into two people and have the same subconscious. Imagine you get to school and yet you're also sleeping at the same time, so you're getting the rest in.
I'd rather just be sleeping.
I think most people would, as Stewart goes down on strikes.
And he's smiling to Brand. I think smiling about maybe how bad he thought that call was. I don't know, but staying cheerful about it for sure.
Hey, some people are just happy to get in that bat. You know, that was me on the JV baseball team back when I was in high school. Popped up, "Don't hit my car!" Luckily, it divides the lane. When I was on the JV team, I keep having to stop myself so I don't say JD. Well, it's not going to hit my car, but it could hit somebody's. Nope, that goes into the grass. You know, in that entire 9th grade year, I got 3 at-bats. I struck out 3 times, once on 4 pitches, though, mind you, so someone's got a dirt bike.
Way to extend that at bat. Get that 4th pitch. Did he take a ball, or was it a foul ball? Or
He took a ball.
Nice.
Oh, no, me.
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah, I fouled it off. I actually fouled it off pretty far, but, you know, because that was my thing. I couldn't make contact, but when I could, you know, I was a power hitter, believe it or not. But usually when I went back to the bench, I'd be fired up, and I'd, like, throw the bat down, and then the rest of my teammates would be like, what's wrong? It just struck out. It's no big deal. And I was like, no, I got an at-bat.
In 4th grade, I was called the walk magnet. I don't know what it was about me, but I think I had 8 or 9 walks in a row in consecutive at-bats that year.
That's really impressive.
It was pretty impressive. I don't know what I was doing to cause it. I was never that good, but I was happy to get on base.
He had a good eye, clearly, and so does Brand as he takes his base.
Funnily enough, Nolan Brand was my teammate that year, so maybe some of my walk-taking skills has rubbed off on him.
I like the conspiracy, as Aaron Coe, the freshman, will take his turn at bat.
I won't mind taking credit for someone else's success.
You know, I was actually talking to Aaron Coe's father right before this. Coe is a switch hitter, but he has not had to bat righty yet this season because he has only faced right-handed pitchers.
And you don't see many switch hitters at the high school level. I know I haven't.
Especially as a freshman, too.
Might not have been useful this year, but going over the next 3 years of his high school career, I'm sure he'll be happy to be able to have that versatility.
And certainly something that'll endear him in the eyes of college scouts. We were actually talking, Coe's father and I, before the game and saying, you know what? I wonder if he could switch in the middle of an at-bat and if the umpires would realize that's against the rules, as he bunts it back to the pitcher and will move the runner. It is against the rules. Once you choose a side of the plate, you do have to stay there for the entire at-bat. But I wonder if the umpires here know that, because they may not have ever faced a situation like that
Exactly,
before.
just not being exposed to such a random sports rule.
It actually came about because in the early 1990s, I believe it was in AA baseball, there was an ambidextrous pitcher. Before Pat Venditti, who later made it to the majors for the Oakland A's, there was an ambidextrous pitcher who faced a switch hitter. And the batter got to the right side, or excuse me, to the left side of the plate. Pitcher tries to throw left-handed. So the batter goes to the right side of the plate. Pitcher puts the glove on the other hand. And they went back and forth about 5 or 6 times before the umpire just had to say, okay, stop, enough, batter, you choose. As Brand is back on second in time. But the umpire had to say, okay, stop it, batter, you choose. Which side are you getting in on?
So the batter chooses first.
Correct.
Interesting. Luckily, I don't think Co will be facing any switch pitchers anytime soon.
No, it's a pretty rare occurrence. To my knowledge, only one has ever made it to the majors, being Pat Venditti. And so the rule at the major league level for that is called the Venditti rule. They never had to implement it before him, even though it was implemented at the minor league level, because they'd never had a circumstance like that. 2-2, 2 outs, runner on second. And Alexander pops it up. Right side, is there room? No, just over the fence. We're almost not used to seeing Alexander get out at this point.
No, when he steps up to bat, I expect him to be on base at the end of the at-bat. I think that's, with a player like him, it has to be an expectation.
Once again, a .607 on-base percentage, as well as a .611 slugging percentage. And he slugs it to right field. If it stays fair, it could be gone. And it does! Touch 'em all!
On senior night, Matt Alexander sending it all the way back on the right side for a 2-run homer.
Matt Alexander with the first home run not hit by Carter King this season. It is 7-2, the second bomb of the night for the Red Rams, who are truly entranced by the beat.
And you were saying in the first inning that if he just straightens out that power, he's going to get a home run sometime or another. And today was that time.
And you can't even say it's Kearney's fault. It's just Alexander who is clobbering the ball. And so is King. They're just taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to them. As Matt Sweeney will step up to bat now.
And a nice moment as senior Matt Alexander on senior night hits a home run, bringing in Nolan Brand, another senior, for that 2-run blast.
And by the way, I believe I saw Matt Alexander's father heading out to right field. It looks like he's going to retrieve that ball and bring it back for Alexander, which is really nice to see.
And he'll add that to what I assume is a pretty vast collection of souvenirs he has from his 4 years with this team.
He did not hit a home run last season, so that may have been his first career home run.
I do know Alexander also has an illustrious career with different travel teams and in modified Little League, so he definitely has some home run balls at home, but definitely now has one for varsity, which I'm sure he's ecstatic about.
The right field fence measuring in at 282 feet from home plate, so that ball traveled probably around 300 feet. Most exciting play in sports, the home run. Sweeney pops it up. And Kisselstein brings it down. That's finally out number 3. But not before Matt Alexander sends one all the way to East Syracuse. So we'll be back with the 5th inning right after this. The Red Rams are settling in.
No, but these are $2.
Yeah, so it's 2, 3.
That's a walk. That's a single.
4, 5.
That's a walk.
Okay, so it's 5. Oh, I love a good home run.
A nice one.
Had 2 nice ones. I hope they get him the ball. If I ever hit a home run, you guarantee I'd have that on my shelf to this day. I had some home run length foul balls, but never won fair. I wasn't that good.
I never hit one either. So
I had one.
I was there for that. I was in person. I remember that to this day. Is that Oswego versus
We're heading back. Welcome back, everybody. As we head to the top of the order for Syracuse City for the 3rd time, it's Pedro Marte, who is 0 for 2 on back-to-back groundouts to third. Ball is low. If you're just joining us, you've missed 2 home runs hit today so far by the Red Rams, and we'll take a look at the second one more time. Matt Alexander, the first time that someone not named Carter King took it long. And boy, was it long.
It was a nice long home run all the way on that right side, and absolutely gorgeous ball.
Now David Stewart kicks and deals, finds the strike zone.
And Stewart in the top of the 5th inning here, showing no signs of slowing down. This might be, on senior night, a game where Darryl leaves him in to go the distance.
And Marte has his pitch snagged right out of the air. His hit snagged right out of the air by Nolan Brand. Flashing the leather at second base.
Showing off those volleyball hops. Volleyball player Nolan Brand, maybe those same spiking abilities coming out to snag that line drive.
So 1 away, and the first ball to Eli Livingston. Livingston is 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. But this time he hits it to shallow right field. Gunn calling for it. Nearly trips in the wet grass, but brings it down.
And I know in his head, as that ball, right when that ball in the air, he was saying, we're not having a repeat of earlier in this game. We're going to catch this ball with no issues. And
well, there was almost an issue, but he avoided it.
Almost an issue, but he avoided it, and that's all that matters. Now it's on the scoreboard now.
Aiden Murphy now up for his 3rd at-bat. 2 outs, has to duck. Fouled off. Like Syracuse City with a little bit of chatter saying that pitch was about 65 on the gun. We don't have a radar gun. That'd be nice. Maybe the coaches do, but we don't, as Murphy takes one to Sweeney, who brings it down without incident. Another 1-2-3 inning for David Stewart on the mound as the Red Rams head to the bottom of the 5th, up by 5. We'll see what happens right after this.
Gotta give Stewart credit for making it through 5 innings with 2 runs and not a single strikeout yet. Just absolutely
Ellithorpe actually did
contact
that last
pitcher.
game.
Really?
Yeah, he went 6 innings without a strikeout and only, 1 hit?
1, 2, 3 hits.
Yeah, that's my count.
Single.
Like, I
don't. Oh yeah, that was weird.
I've got 3 hits.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Ellithorpe last game because he went 6 innings with like 1 hit, no walks, no strikeouts actually.
Well,
and then that last inning he ran out of gas.
I'm only seeing
these two singles? Am I missing something? That's a hit by pitch. That's a line out. Here. Oh, okay.
We return live at the JD Diamond. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken here for JD TV. As Carter King is about to take his third hacks. And he's got a lot to live up to now that he's not the only Red Ram with a home run to his name. Hit a 2-run bomb in his first at-bat today. And it's tough to follow a performance like that.
It is, but if anybody can do it, it's Carter King.
Very true as he takes his first ball low. King now has 15 hits on the season, and 10 of them were for extra bases. Easily the highest slugging percentage on the team. .620 heading into this game.
And the duo of him and Matt Alexander in this lineup is just provides so much difficulty for any opposing pitchers.
Of course, the trade-off is the old power hitter's folly. He also leads the team in strikeouts with 14. You know, when you swing so hard, you're bound to miss some occasionally. But he draws a 4-pitch walk. And Hunter Kearney is still being trusted by manager Mike Miola of Syracuse City, but he has not been out there without difficulty today. Now it's Jake Ogata. Doubled in his first at-bat. Popped up to first base in his second. Ogata's batting .294 this season. Strike. Gets away from the catcher, and King will take second base.
Good heads up by King. Got right over to second base, and I don't think the Red Rams have got caught sleeping on a single pass ball today. They've made it to the next base almost every single time, I believe.
The Red Rams have played heads-up base running all season long. In fact, you want a comparison, they've stolen, I believe, 34, 35 stolen bases now today. 33 before the game. That's 2.4 per game that they steal. By comparison, Syracuse City, 0.6 per game. So this is a speedy team, the Red Rams.
And you were talking about how similar these two teams are statistically, but that's one of those primary difference makers between them.
And King got caught heading to third. The throw is off target, but he decides not to head home, though he possibly could have. But he makes his way to third base, and if he doesn't, if you remember correctly, Tyler, a few games ago we were talking about some of the unwritten rules of baseball and when to shut it down. You don't unnecessarily steal bases when you're so far up ahead, and that was a good example of that. So Ogata fouls it off.
I just think Carter's a really strong guy. He's not the fastest guy in the world, and the third base side fence isn't too far away from the third baseline itself, so I don't know if he would have had time to make it home. Potentially, you might be more aggressive if it's tied or only down a few runs, but...
And speaking of aggression, on the short porch comes home Ogata, trapped on the base paths. He's caught in a rundown now. The run will score regardless of whether or not he's safe or out as they make the tag. So one out now on the board, but the Red Rams are leading 8-2.
And see, I think strategically it might have just been, we've got Jake Ogata up to bat. He's been hitting well recently. He'll get in anyway. No need to try to stretch that and get home immediately on that steal. Regardless, run scores 8-2.
I believe that also counts as a hit with a out on the throw as Santos is able to beat it out. So runner on first for Corey Kretsch, and just one out to work with. Red Rams have extended their lead to 6. Runner goes, hit and run. Past the diving third baseman into the outfield. Santos heading for third. He holds up there. Runners now at the corners. And Kretsch has his 4th hit of the year.
And it was just fair.
Atkinson did his best to track it down, but it was not good enough.
Number 6 hit. I think that's his 6th hit. He hits every time. No, he's hit 6 this year. He's hit more than 4. You better look back at the stats. That's wrong.
We're going to have our first mound visit of the day.
Everybody will hear it. I don't care if it is. A mama.
While we have this momentary interruption, you know, I was confused, and some other people might be out there. What exactly is Syracuse City? Because it's not a school here. It turns out it's 5 schools combined. It's Corcoran, Fowler, ITC, Henninger, and Nottingham. Prior to the 2012 season, it was combined into 2 teams, Syracuse East and Syracuse West. And in some sports, such as running, it's still in that separation. But in certain sports, in 2015, they were combined into 1 team, Syracuse City, due to lack of participation in some sports. In order to make sure everyone could compete, they changed it to a 1-team system from the entire district, which is also why they don't have a mascot of sorts, like the Red Rams or the Spartans or the Falcons. They are just Syracuse City.
And there's a lot of challenges that come along with that. All these Jamesville-DeWitt athletes, they go to school together. They're in a lot of the same classes. You could be going to a different school than your first baseman, a different school than your catcher, a different school than your pitcher. So a lot of potentially team chemistry issues as you're trying to bring in so many different kids who don't really know each other onto one team.
Though it's worked out well enough for them as they have a 5-8 record this season. And a hefty talking to from Coach Mike Miola. And we have a new pitcher. We'll get you a little bit more on him right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Level swing. Watch the pitcher. Watch the pitch. Watch it, Gage. Watch the pitcher.
It is. Put WP with the wild pitch, SB if it's still produced. And a few of them is only up to interpretation. If it gets away from the catcher, it's a wild. It counts as a wild pitch.
Even if it's dropped in front of them?
Yes.
Level swing, Gage. Level swing. Make contact.
If he doesn't take off
Just make
if he
contact.
moves in reaction to what happens with the catcher, then it's a wild pitch. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new pitcher on the mound for Syracuse City. It is Reagan Riffenberg. Hunter Kearney's final line, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 8 earned runs, 4 walks, 1 strikeout, and 2 home runs surrendered, though he did not hit a batsman. Bunt attempt laid down by David Stewart. You know, there's a fun fact I learned just a couple days ago, actually. When keeping track of a hit by pitch, that is the only time in Major League Baseball rules that a batter is still referred to as a batsman.
They're just referred to as a batter in every other situation?
That's correct, as the runner is back in time. It's a batter in every other situation. It's batsman in cricket, which is where the term comes from, transformed into batter under baseball rules. The only place where batsman still remains is when referring to someone who is hit by a pitch. They are a hit batsman.
That's an interesting distinction. I wonder what the reason is for that.
It sounds better. Bunt is foul. It does kind of sound better, a hit batsman rather than a hit batter.
Has a nice little ring to it.
It does. So that's your fun little trivia fact for today. Actually, we have a Red Rams trivia question, but that's for later. I just felt a raindrop. Did you?
I have not felt one yet, but I will pay attention.
Let's hope there's no more, because we have nothing covering our electronics here. And it would be very bad if a downpour erupted. We don't have a tarp. They do for the infield, though. Catcher pops up, but you see bobbled it in the glove. Wasn't able to complete the pitch out. Riffenberg, the lefty. Kicks and deals, and Stewart takes one for a ride, center field. Sacrifice fly brings home a run. It is 9-2. David Stewart with his first RBI of the season. I don't know if you caught that, but I just heard, I think that was one of the coaches saying, Stewie, I am so proud of you.
Providing really great pitching today and also helping himself out with that RBI there too.
Now Nolan Brand will face Riffenberg. This may be the first lefty that the Red Rams have seen all season, at least at home, which means we'll finally get to see Aaron Coe bat from the right side. Though he's not on deck yet. Could be waiting to take off the catcher's gear.
With 2 outs, I'd wager that's what he's probably doing. Always a difficult situation for those catchers to really get prepared, because they're always thinking about what's coming next inning as they have to get behind the plate.
Weather update says at 7 p.m., which is in 20 minutes, there will be a 90% chance of rain. Drizzle starting in 32 minutes, it says, over the next hour.
Let's hope we get some good pitching over these next few innings.
Yeah, let's hope they go fast. Or hope we can solicit a donation of some sort from the parents here. Fouled off by Brand. You know, we should, pass around a hat after these games to everyone who's listening to us behind the plate.
Are we the Catholic Church tithing people?
No, I was thinking more like street musicians.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not tithe. Is it tithe or tithe? I don't know. I'm not Catholic.
I'm not either, so I do not know.
Brand sends one up to high heaven, plummets back to the ground, and it falls. No one gets it. Runner goes to third, and that's a base hit. The general rule of thumb, if you're keeping score at home, is if it does not touch the glove, it is not an error.
It's unfortunate. I think I counted about 6 fielders in the vicinity of that ball, and not a single one of them called for it and caught it. So just probably a communication error there.
Also could be the overcast skies. The ball certainly blends in with the clouds as Aaron Coe settles in on the right side for the first time this season. His first demonstration of his switch hitting abilities. You know, maybe he'll hit better from the right side. He's only been batting .138 this season. He is, of course, valued for his defensive abilities. Now I'm in the stage where I'm not sure if I'm feeling actual raindrops or if it's just psychological.
I think it's just psychological. I haven't felt a single one yet. We'll keep you posted, though. It's going to be an interesting next half hour of broadcasting.
We have to take everything under the table and sit in the grass. That may be what we have to do. I don't have any extra plastic bags. I don't know about you. Off the dugout. Hey, you've got a fan in the comments. Someone says, go Josh and Tyler.
That is Matthew Bonomo, boyfriend of my older sister, Samantha Aitken, probably tuning in from right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So,
Comebacker right back to the pitcher, and it goes over the head of Kisselstein. Coe on base with an E3. A run scores, other runner moves to third, and it is 10-2. The first error of the day for Syracuse City. And there's still runners at first and third for Matt Alexander. The Red Rams take an 8-run lead. This is their largest lead of the whole season. Fouled off into the backstop. Alexander swinging for the fences because it did him so well in his last at-bat. Hit a titanic blast to right field.
and mind you, Matt Alexander, the second straight switch hitter we've seen on this Red Rams team switching into that right-hander's batter's box against this left-handed pitcher.
Alexander over the pitcher's head and off the glove of the shortstop Livingston, but they get him at second. Alexander with a good attempt, but the Syracuse City, recovering from the error, scooped up by the second baseman Schmidt, and it is 10-2 as we head to the sixth. The Red Rams are just vibing out there. We'll be right back to see what happens in the sixth inning.
So I labeled that as a fielder's choice for Matt not getting on base, and then he got thrown out. I believe that's all correct. Yeah.
You might add an error for that, but I'm not going to.
For what? Oh, for here?
Yeah, but I'm
I
not
didn't
going
error on
to.
the one before. It's fine.
Yeah, because it didn't affect who got on base, so
Yeah.
like not worth it.
3 more runs.
If anyone's got any clear plastic bags, we might need them to protect some stuff.
I'll go run inside and see if there's any turf or anything in there. They probably have garbage bags or something.
Well, that would definitely help for the computer if we could read it. If there was a clear one, we might be able to put it over the camera. Well, that's part of it. We might, yeah. We're just cutting the chase here.
You have to give a shout out to Aaron, Steve in Hong Kong,
Oh, you're getting one.
because he's listening to you. Uncle
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As Kisselstein will step up for the third time today for Syracuse City, the Red Rams exploded over the last 3 innings. A 3-run fifth for them as Stewart's still on the mound. Tyler Aitken running to the JD dugout to see if we could solicit any donations of protective materials. We got an umbrella, though, thanks to actually Aaron Coe's parents. And by the way, I was told a quick shout out to Aaron Coe's uncle, who is currently watching from Hong Kong.
Going international. First to Pennsylvania, now to Hong Kong.
To which we say, shit. Welcome, Kaohsiung, that you are watching all the way from Hong Kong. Great to see a little international flavor here. Flexing just about everything I remember from taking 2 semesters of Mandarin.
If anybody's watching from France, I could start speaking French, but I don't think we have anyone in Paris quite yet.
Not a gigantic French baseball crowd. As there is a big strikeout.
And credit to Stewart, that's his first strikeout of the day. He's pitched amazingly, kept Syracuse City to just 2 runs so far, but in the top of the 6th, that's the first strikeout all day. Just showing how dominant a pitcher can still be even when they're allowing contact. It's a strategy for a reason.
So Walakwa watches the first one go by. Someone named Alaskan Bullworm in the comments is very hyped up about JD's run support. I don't know much about Alaska either. I don't know about you. You ever been?
I've never been to Alaska. My dad's been to Alaska. He's actually been to all 50 states.
Wow.
A little fun fact about him. Just reached Oregon about 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, when he was growing up, him and his, I think, 6 or 7 siblings at the time, which eventually became 9 siblings, drove to Alaska in a little trailer, a camper, I believe.
I would imagine cutting through Canada.
Yes. They did not drive through the ocean, unfortunately.
That would be kind of hard.
Not quite that exotic.
There are boat cars. That is a thing.
Yeah?
Actually, another fun fact, because I'm just filled with them. President Lyndon B. Johnson actually owned an amphibious vehicle that looked very much like a car on his Texas ranch, and one of his favorite pastimes is he would invite political figures back to his ranch. He would drive purposefully accelerating towards a lake on his ranch and start shouting that the brakes were out, and watched his passengers freak out as he drove right into the water, and they slowly realized that it was actually an amphibious vehicle.
Gotta appreciate the humor in that. I've been on one of those in Boston on a school trip. They're actually quite fun to go on.
One of those duck tours, I'm guessing?
The duck tours, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was on one of those in Boston.
Maybe we were on the same one, Sam, before we knew each other.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've been back. Passed ball tagged out, so that's 2 strikeouts now. 2 in a row for Stewart.
Stewart just absolutely grooving on the mound. Doesn't really seem to be straining at all for these past few strikeouts.
The last time I was in Boston, actually, was the first time I got to go to a game at Fenway Park. Did not sit on the monster, though. I was in right field. They were playing the A's, I believe, and if you wanted, I couldn't give you the exact date of it, but I know Josh Reddick was playing right field for the A's that day. That's right next to my car! Oh, it's not, well, I don't know if it hit any, but it didn't hit mine. That's the important thing.
Sam showing off a little bit of that self-preservation. As long as it's not my car, it's fine.
Well, you know, I'm important.
You are. Us at JD TV also hope that nobody's car was hit. we see someone going back there to investigate. We'll
Of
keep
course.
you posted.
Looks like that's Aiden McGuire sent out to take a look. 3 strikeouts on the inning for David Stewart, his first 3 of the day. So Stewart hitting a groove with a beautiful curveball, sending us to the bottom of the 6th. Got a little bit more of this game left. Don't go anywhere.
Do we have lacrosse next or baseball next? Oh, this is our last. This is our last baseball game, so it is lacrosse from here on out. Just bring it up. Last time bringing it up, though.
Yeah, but I should mention sectionals actually. But I was talking to Mr. Goodson yesterday, and so Sunday night is going to be the seating meeting. All the ADs are going to get together and schedule it. I said, if you can get us softball games that are give us at least an hour and a half cushion between that and lacrosse, we could pack up, get to the softball.
Drive it
field.
down?
Yeah.
Do we have the cords there to do it? Is there Ethernet down there?
Well, there's no Ethernet here either.
Oh. There's the Wi-Fi strong enough, though?
I'm not sure, but we can.
And then extension cords and stuff?
Yeah, we just bring all of this down to there, and I said we'd most likely only do it if they make the sectional championship.
They will make the sectional championship.
So if they make the championship and lacrosse makes the championship, we can do lacrosse or softball, whichever comes first, pack the stuff up, get to the other field, do both championships in one day.
It'd be nice to broadcast Amanda's game.
Yeah, I'd love to do softball. It's just that we haven't had the time, obviously. With all this. So that could be coming our way.
Okay.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Sweeney will step up to bat now, starting off the bottom of the 6th for the Red Rams. Unfortunately, this is our last baseball broadcast of the season. This is the last home game of the season. But don't forget to join us next week. We'll get you the timing in a few days. As sectional playoffs begin next week, I have been told by Jamesville-DeWitt's athletic director, John Goodson, that as long as JD teams are the higher seed, which means they'll be the home team, we'll be here to bring you those sectional contests. As Sweeney pokes one back up the middle, little blooper into center for another base hit.
We have a lot of teams for these Red Rams competing for sectional titles, both lacrosse teams, the softball team, and we might, depending on how next game goes, see the baseball team in that tournament as well.
However, only the higher seeds will be the home team, and if JD makes it into sectional playoffs, chances are they will be the lower seed in most of their contests. As King looks to take another for a ride, center field, towards the wall, touch 'em all! Carter King with a 2-home run day makes it 12-2. Another massive shot.
And that's 3 home runs on the day for this Red Rams team. They're certainly not a consistent home run hitting team, but today they've showed when they need that power, they've got it right in their back pocket.
And you see it again. King favoring the longest, farthest part of the ballpark, nearly 375 feet out there where he just hit it. Carter King, so nice he does it twice. Now it's Ogata who steps up. So as we were saying, if JD does make it to sectionals, they will be the lower seed most likely, which means they'll be playing on the road for the entirety of the sectional championships. As Ogata hits it to second, scooped up by Schmidt, over to Kisselstein for out number 1. Let's take another look at that home run. Just because we can, what a beauty. And Dante Santos steps up to bat now. However, chances are that if JD boys lacrosse and girls softball will most likely have the highest seed, as Santos sends one up the middle, cut off by the shortstop. He cannot outrun that. Out by about a step.
That was a heck of a play by Livingston. Fielded an awkward hop right over second base and made an accurate, quick throw to get Santos out at first.
Livingston with an impressive stop at shortstop, as Corey Kretsch will step up to bat now. So boys lacrosse and softball most likely have the highest seeds. We know for sure we will be bringing you every boys lacrosse playoff game that is played here at JD. And if the scheduling works out, trying to put in a good word with the scheduling meeting, if we have enough time to, we will attempt to bring you softball as well. Just comes down to, do we have enough time to be able to pack up our stuff, bring it down to the softball field, and of course hoping the games won't be at the exact same time.
Make the trek down to the bottom of Linden. And it would be great to get some broadcasting of that softball team. Only one loss this year. They've been dominant all season, and they're looking to try to coast their way through this sectional tournament.
Of course, the problem lies in the fact that the seeding meeting does not take place until 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. So we won't actually have the times for the sectional championships until Sunday night. And Kretsch takes one for a ride left field, though it is cut off quickly by Senjuro. And that ends the 6th inning. Potentially 1/2 inning of play left here on the JD Diamond, and we thank you for sticking with us throughout the entire time. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken will be right back.
Okay, let's pray we can make it. Well, that would be unfortunate. Yeah. I was just about to say something. I'm not going to jinx it. It's only 1 or 2 little drops. Nothing big enough to hurt any computer.
All right, everyone give us your energy. Let's hope we can hold off the rain.
I'm feeling with a little
I'm feeling it. Drizzle for the next hour, it says. Well, I'm putting on the hoodie.
Strategically kind of cutting off my vision there. Do you want me to do this, or I can watch on there? So
Yeah, you're not even covering the
what? Other computer? I was gonna say as the bag, but there's the other part of it. So just watch on
there we
this.
go. Yeah.
I'll throw this on the camera if I need to. Sounds good.
Good idea. Well, this is a look.
Oh wait, I'm not gonna do that until it starts raining because of the Zoom.
Right. Coach, 25 in this spot.
12, right? Yep.
Pinch hitter.
25. It's Easton.
Yeah, I got it. We are back with the top of the 7th here as the rain is just starting to fall now. It's drizzling a little bit here in DeWitt. And we have a new hitter, Anthony Easton, subbing in for Calvin Atkinson. Atkinson's day is done. Easton takes his place. We found an umbrella as Easton puts up a single. There will be no throw from Gunn. And that's what a good pinch hitter is meant to do.
Get on base, potentially start a rally. I don't know if you're going to get 10, but can close this guy up a little bit and make that final score a little bit more respectable. That's for sure.
Ryan Sampson now, the batter, takes the first ball. So we have an umbrella covering the computer and the monitor and the audio software. We have a hoodie covering the camera that hit the fence. And I have a hoodie on covering the headset because the umbrella is not big enough to fit all of us and I am out exposed to the elements. Just drizzling right now. It's not coming down too hard. Throw back to first. He's off the bag. That'll get him. Aston tripped on first base. Tried to scramble out of the way. Credit to him. But it's a 1-2 count for David Stewart, who started this game and is still on the mound.
And that was good heads up by Coe and by Kretsch to get that unusual out at first base. They didn't get him directly on the tag, but forced him off the bag on that right side.
That's the benefit of good pressure. I don't know how much tennis you play, Tyler.
I don't play a whole lot. Apparently we might be playing in gym class tomorrow morning. But
Oh, that'll be interesting. Hopefully the court won't be too wet.
I was going to say if the weather turns into what we think it might, we won't be.
Sampson grounds out to second base. Nolan Brand on the throw. Now there's 2 outs for Syracuse City. But the thing that they teach you when you're learning tennis, not that I learned for very long, is let the other person make the mistake. Just work on your fundamentals, keep it steady, and let the other person mess up. And that's exactly what Coe and Kretsch did on first base. Hit in the air by Santoro. Brought down, and that's the game. The Red Rams win at home on senior night, defeating Syracuse City 12-2. An action-packed game featuring 3 home runs, 2 from Carter King, 1 from Matt Alexander. And on the final home game of 2021, the Red Rams stand tall.
And definitely a great win on senior night. 2 different seniors getting home runs, lots of seniors getting involved with catches and runs and hits. And this will give the Red Rams a little bit of momentum going into their final game, which they need to win to qualify for sectionals. So it will be an interesting weekend for this Red Rams baseball team. An exciting one nonetheless.
And speaking of sectionals, don't forget to join us on Tuesday at whatever time that may be for the boys lacrosse sectional playoffs. But in the meantime, my name is Sam Gelfand on behalf of my broadcast partners, Tyler and Josh Aitken, and everyone here at JDTV and Jamesville-DeWitt Central High School. Have a very good night, wherever you may be. Right field, 282. Yeah, but keep that out for a little bit.
I'll keep it out
while we're packing up.
All right.